This video is brought to you by Xero, business accounting software that has all the time-saving tools you need to grow your business. Import bank transactions, send invoice reminders, pay your staff, and drive profitability through Xero projects. Whether in the office or on the go using the easy-to-use mobile app, you can run your business with ease, even if you don't have much of an accounting background, like me. Xero also allows you to invite your own accountants and bookkeepers to help you meet all your tax obligations for that extra feel of security. By signing up using the specific link in the description, you will receive 50% off your first 3 months. Quick and easy to set up, cancel at any time with free 24-hour support, add as many users as you wish, and with no hidden fees, there's no excuse you shouldn't sign up for Xero today. Over 3.7 million people already trust Xero with all their accounting needs. So remember, that's 50% off your first 3 months. Quick and easy to use accounting and round the clock customer assistance. That's Xero with an X. Link is in the description.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Blues Focus podcast. Another episode of season 4. No Tommy Kelsall tonight. No idea where he is. Wasn't here this week. Wasn't here last week. He's slacking. He's getting poor with these podcast appearances, but it is what it is. I am still joined by two big blue noses. Of course, Jamie Lawler, as always. Jamie, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. All good. A little tired, working nights, but we move. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm here, ready to talk about the game.
We did want a little disclaimer. If Jamie says anything too stupid today, is because he is a tired man. We're used to Jamie saying stupid things anyway, but if they're extra stupid, I'm joking, mate. I'm joking. Your opinions on the whole are all right. They're decent.
Thanks, mate. I'll take that from you.
And of course, we are joined by Josh, who's making his second appearance. Is it now, Josh?
Yes, it is. Yeah, second appearance.
Good to have you, mate. Good to have you.
Yeah, going well. Glad to be here.
Good to have you, mate. No Sam again this evening. Not quite sure where Sam is, but I'm sure he will be back very soon. We've got plenty to talk about this evening. Last episode was a bit of a bumper episode. There was so much going on in the world of blues, and I thought tonight's would be a bit quieter, but still plenty going on at the club. I guess we should start with Bristol City, a game both Jamie and Josh, you were both at. A very, very good afternoon, a 2-0 win. Another 3 points, 3 points on the road as well, which just makes it that little bit better. Jamie, talk us through it. What are your thoughts on the game and the day itself?
I thought it was a very professional performance. I thought we were the better team for 85, if not 90 minutes. I think they had one spell. Ironically, played better when they had 10 men, I thought, for about 10 minutes. Started to build a bit ahead of steam. But I think we got that second goal. We killed the game. We played really professional with it. The only downside of the whole game was to lose Dembele and Ethan Laird, who were both fantastic until that happened. Big shout out to Jurinho Bacuna. I thought he was phenomenal at right back. Clearly exhausted by the end of it, but the team still gave 100%. Can't fault anyone on the pitch. The subs are incredible, and Japanese Berbatov strikes. What more do you want?
Such a good goal, wasn't it? Such a good goal.
It's
Josh,
so good.
how was the day for you, mate? I know you travelled to Bristol, so what are your thoughts on it all?
Yeah, it was a good game. Obviously, it was my first game of the season, actually being there and seeing the team and what it looks like. But yeah, as you say, really professional performance. Everyone was giving really good performances. Even the players that came on did really well. Obviously, as Jamie said, Bacuna filling in at right back. Obviously, he was tired at the end of it, but the likes of James coming on and helping him out did really well. So I think it was nice to see the players that aren't starting just come in and it just clicks straight away. And yeah, the Japanese Berbatov, as we're now calling him, with that amazing strike. And again, glad to see Djukovic on the score sheet again. So yeah, good day all round, really.
Yeah, I can't comment on it too much as I didn't watch the game. I was sadly only listening. But from your guys' point of views, as far as a performance goes, because 2-0 looks great on the score sheet and everything, but in terms of a performance, how was it? Did we play good football, hold our shape and structure well? Because looking at Leeds, I thought we were excellent. Was it a similar performance in terms of that quality?
I think we didn't really give Bristol a sniff. I don't recall Bristol really troubling us until Naki Wells missed an absolute sitter. They had a couple of dangerous crosses coming to the box. They had some deep corners that Ruddy went to get and didn't get, but defence held strong with it. I think Bielik and Sunjic, by the way, that was the best game he's had in a blue shirt for me. Obviously, he was unbelievable. This new revitalised Ivan Sunjic is just a new breed and an animal. He's unbelievable. And I think he gets man of the match for the fact that he got a yellow card for something ridiculous and didn't end up getting sent off for 70 minutes. So fair play to Ivan.
Yeah, he is a changed player now. Certainly against Leeds, I thought he was fantastic, and even in pre-season, I think he showed glimpses of the new player he's going to be. We mentioned it last week, that sort of defensive midfield partnership of Bielik and Sunjic, and they're both equally as strong. I saw a post on Twitter the other day of someone talking about Bielik and Sunjic, and the replies were just like the world's greatest midfielders and pictures of Scholes and Gerrard, and they genuinely those two defensive midfielders have been fantastic. I think we've got to mention at this bit, speaking of midfielders, Alfie Chang obviously out for what looks like a long time. I mean, Josh, what are your thoughts on that one? It's I know what you're going to say. It is obviously gutting, but in terms of importance and everything, how soon do we want him back?
I think as soon as possible, really. I think obviously he's not the starting CDM over Sunjic and Bielik, but I think he's always just that option on the bench that, like, Sunjic getting a yellow card last game, the whole game, it was like, is he going to get another one? Is he going to get another one? But in the back of our minds, it's always, well, we could just bring Alfie Chang on, like, if we do need to take him off, if he's getting silly. And that's kind of gone now. I know we've got Gardner, but he hasn't played in a while. I mean, I'll hold my hands up that when we signed, like Alfie Chang signed his new contract at the Blues, I didn't really think much of him. It was a bit of a, why are we giving him like the longer contract when we've got the likes of Hall and James, obviously? But he's proved me wrong. Like he's turned into a great player, and I would have happily seen him like come on in any of the games so far and just fill in. Like in the cup game, he was really, really, really good, just controlling the ball. So I think it is a big loss, but we've still got options now. So we don't need to rush him back, but obviously it would be better to see him back than him out injured. So,
yeah, Jamie, agree with all of that?
Yeah, devastating. Like we've lost a very good youth player there. You know, he's coming into his own. He became a part of our squad last year, didn't he? He filled in, came in for a couple of games, and everyone was like, "This kid's all right." To be fair, and we've also lost with Ethan Laird. We've lost someone else who can play right back because he filled in at right back against Cheltenham, and he was class. So it's devastating to lose not only a good centre mid option, but also you've lost another defensive option, and it seems to be the one area of the pitch at the minute we're severely lacking in is defensive minded players. Or we're losing a lot of good defenders at the minute, and we can't be dealing with that. But I wish Alfie all the best, quickest recovery, man, and get him back out on the pitch. Hopefully he does a bit of a Jordan James and comes back and absolutely tanks out and hits the gym and bulks out, because whatever Jordan James has been having over summer, Alfie Chang can have some of that.
Yeah. I think the most disappointing thing with Chang is he's such a young player, and I think if I remember it was last season around the time we sort of had Blackburn in the cup. Around that sort of period, he had a few league games and played in those games too, where I really thought, wow, this is a great player we've got on our hands here. And I think to have such a, I'm not exactly sure what the injury is, but I think
I know it's his knee.
Is it quite serious? So I think he's going to be out for surgery. Quite some time, has he?
Yeah,
I think he's had surgery. Or had
yes. So this is the thing, to recover from that at such a young age. When you're younger, it is easier to recover from these injuries, but it's how he copes both physically and mentally with being out of football for 8 to 12 months or however long he's out. And I agree with you, Jamie. I think it's such a big loss because he's such a good player, I think, to bring on. When we've got 20, 25 minutes left and we just need that bit more solidity. Because I think he's sort of a midfielder who's a bit of a jack of all trades, good defensively, good going forward as well, which maybe Bielik and Sunjic are more favoured defensively. Probably Bakuna's closest to a player as Alfie Chang is. So, yeah, really disappointing. We've obviously lost Laird and Dembele as well. Tyler Roberts still out too. So we've got a few injuries at the moment. I mean, Josh, how big a losses are both Laird and Dembele? Because they are, I think, massive in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I think like Dembele's a really, really good player, and like Bristol was just incredible. Like being able to get the ball in his own half and just turn his man. He did it so many times. I think he's got the most dribbles in the league now, and I think he's a big loss. But I think Laird is the bigger loss. I think like with Dembele, we've got people that can come in like Miyoshi and James, but Laird, it's very much one of those, like we were speaking before, of who plays right back now. Do we put Bakuna there? But then he hasn't really got the stamina to be going forward and backwards. Do we go to a back three and like move Buchanan over and then maybe have Longello as wing back as well. It's one of those, we don't really have those defensive options. Like we even said, dropping Bielik and putting Sanderson right back, but then it's almost Laird is very much he goes beyond whoever the winger is on that side. So I don't think Sanderson's going to be doing that. So whatever happens, really, the game plan is going to change. So I think he's probably the big loss. But again, it's one of those where we have got the likes of Bakuna, which against Bristol, I thought he did really well there. Although you could see he was blown at the end of the game, he did do really well. And James gave him that cover. So if he has to play there against Plymouth, then fair enough. But we just want Laird and Dembele to come back and be the players that they've been so far. Like from the sounds of it in Eustace, it doesn't seem like they're going to be out for too long. Like in his press conference, it was more that they were just out this week, but hopefully they come back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it didn't seem like anything too serious. I mean, go on, Jamie, you were going to say something.
So how long is it now to the international break? Is it literally this game, Cardiff and Millwall, and then is it 2-week break?
You know, I hadn't even checked. I hate international breaks so much, I just don't bother looking.
Or is it too early?
I don't know, because last season that it because of the World Cup, things were a bit thrown off, but normally it seems to be maybe 4, 5, 6 games into the season.
That's what I'm thinking, because if it is literally like that, the move could even be let Dembele and Laird rest, let them fully just get over these injuries over the 4 weeks. I'd rather that. I know it puts us at a bit of a detriment when we're playing good teams, but I'd rather sacrifice them for 2 games knowing I'm going to get 100% fit back players. Because Ethan Laird and Dembele, but Ethan Laird in them 41 minutes, Josh, before he came off. Like, the amount of times he just bolted from, like, the keeper would throw it out to their winger or kick it out, and he just bolt, get the ball, and he's through.
Yeah.
He's down the wing. He's gone, like.
Yeah. I couldn't believe how, like, defensively, like, how well he was doing as well.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of times they tried to play it over the top and he just jumped and headed it out. And it's like, he's like 5'7", 5'6", and he's just jumping and heading it out against, like, whoever the winger was. Like, it was his best defensive. He's only played a couple of games, but definitely his best defensive performance. But then going forward as well, like as you say, that there was that one where the keeper tried to throw it out and he just sprinted at their fullback and just nipped in front of them. So I think we are going to miss that, but.
Yeah, I think the thing is Dembele and Laird, I'd say, have been our 2 standout performers this season. And I think the tricky thing with those 2 is, say if Keshi Anderson were to get injured tomorrow, we've probably got Jordan James who can step in and do a similar-ish job. If Bielik's injured, Baka can step in. I think the problem with these 2 is they're not just like-for-like changes. Whoever comes in, through no fault of their own, offers something different and doesn't quite play the same way as Laird and Dembele do. I think last week we went through our ideal Blues teams at the moment, and I think we agreed on the back 4. We agreed on the 2 defensive midfielders. It was just the front 4 we changed a bit, but I think now we'll see to be honest, a completely different team, because those 2 are so vital, I think, in order to get results that are hopefully fairly similar. We're going to need a big change. We sort of spoke about it a little bit before the pod, but I'll go to you on this, Jamie. Do we change formation? Who comes in? Who goes out? What are we doing for the weekend? Because I don't think we can stick necessarily with the same style of play, because I think Dembele and Laird are so huge and so pivotal in the way we play. So maybe something's got to change,
isn't it? I was saying earlier, like, I think it might be a 3-5-2 and come back to it. However, I'd be interested to see how a 3-5-2 goes now. And no disrespect to Birmingham last season, but we seem to have better footballers now. So I'll be interested to see how a 3-5-2 works with better players on the pitch. Because it worked last season and we had Troy Deeney and Hogan. Whereas, you know what I mean? Like, you got not a lot of movement. That's no disrespect to Troy. He did what he did, but... You know, we got better, quicker players now. I'd like to see like a Duke with someone like Miyoshi running off him, or because Miyoshi just, even when he went up front for a little bit, you saw it in the second half against Duke. He had the ball in the net another time, Zach, but it was offside. It was close, but he just ran onto a Dukey flick on and just buried it past the keeper. So Miyoshi offers us that difference, but I think it will be 3-5-2, and I can see. I don't know who's going to play. I don't know if he's going to move Bielik back as a third centre half and then bring Jordan James into the middle, or is he going to, risk Manny Longello? I think maybe Longello has more to offer this year. I think if you've got someone solid like a Lee Buchanan at left centre back, I think Longello probably does have that freedom to bolt forward more.
I was going to ask you about the centre halves because I think that's a tricky bit if you want to play a 3-5-2 because Mark Roberts is still injured. If I'm not mistaken, he won't be available for the weekend. I don't think so. It's Long, Sanderson. Yeah, do you play someone like Buchanan there? Do you bring Bielik in? Just
Nico
what?
Gordon still injured? Or has he
He's
left the
at
club and I'm just being
Solihull
an
Moors.
idiot? He's at Solihull
Solihull.
Moors. Yeah. I knew he was
Yeah.
somewhere. I knew so.
Yeah.
Like, why are we getting rid? Why are we getting rid of him on loan when we got such short defensive options, man?
Well,
I mean,
I
I
like
think
Nico
that
got
Gordon.
sent off
I
on his
think he's
debut.
good.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, really? You're joking? No way. I mean, I think what this has done though, these two injuries, has highlighted that. I think we said last week that our depth was pretty decent, but it's still not 100%. We still need, before the window ends, I think there's still a few players we need to bring in. I still think we need the centre half. I think we're all in agreement that we still could do with another striker. I mean, Josh, what are you doing for the weekend then against Plymouth? What would you do if you were John Eustace?
I would play the team that we started the second half with bring James. So Anderson on the left for Dembele. I'll put Miyoshi in the middle and Bakuna right back, and then I'll put Jordan James. And I would just say, like Bakuna, just run as much as you can, and then if we have to take him off and maybe, as you say, push Bielik back or something like that. But I don't think we're going to be doing as much running because I think we'll have a lot more possession against Plymouth. So I don't think it'll be a lot of back and forth. But that's what I would go with. I think, like we've seen Bakuna play right wing back before. Obviously, it's more further forward than playing 5 at the back, for example. But that's what I would go with. And I mean, we have got Longello if we need to, put him at right back. But
you touched on Longolo there, and we said it before the pod, but maybe play slightly higher up because I think we're all in agreement that Longolo would be better utilised in more of a forward role. I wouldn't be opposed to see him have a go on the left at the weekend. I think we do. Having said that, I think we do have better options in terms of the left side of the pitch and moving a few things around. I think we can get better players in there, but I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Longolo come on in minute 60, 65 and have a go at left wing because I think going forward is stronger point. Agreed.
In an ideal world, we've been hearing Matt Loughton's been training with the Blues for the last 2 weeks. Why can't we just get him on a pen to paper and get him in tomorrow? Get him in for the game, on Saturday. Like I know he's been training for a few weeks. I'd rather him for 1 half than nothing. He's a right back who's played in the Premier League. He's better than what option we'll have. No disrespect to Baka. I thought he was great, but
I don't disagree. But right back's just not Bakuna's natural position, is it? I think he's much better utilised in the middle. What about saw 1 or 2 people mention Josh Williams maybe because I know he's not really he hasn't been in the squad really since the start of last season. But I think when he did play last season, I thought he did a good job. But do we have better options? That's the thing.
Not at the moment.
I think going forward, he looks all right. I mean, he's played that. For me, like against Plymouth, they've got is it Barley Mumba?
Yes,
the wing back who's really attacking, and although he's right-footed, he plays on that left side. And I think, yes, Josh Williams is good going forward, but I think Bakuna's just that. Although he's not defensive-minded, he's actually really good at tackling. Like he does that thing where he like backs off, and then he can put that tackle in like at the last minute.
Yeah.
So that's for me why I think Bakuna would be a better fit at right back. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Williams was on the bench for the game. And as you say, maybe an option towards the end of the game if we're holding on and we want to go to a 5 at the back, he comes on at right wing back and then Longello on the left. But like you were saying, Zach, about pushing Longello left mid, yeah, definitely do it. He came on at Bristol and he looked really good in that position. Like we know he can be defensive and help out, but he was also able to bomb on as well. So
did you see him turn the 2 players in the corner at the end of the match?
He's such a baller, honestly.
He turned them. He turned 2 players back in the corner. He literally just spun them and started running in the box. I was like,
going forward, I think he's brilliant going forward. Defensively, I'm in full agreement that probably left back isn't his preferred position because defensively I don't think he is as solid, but going forward I think he's quality. I'd love to see him higher up. Look, what Eustace does at the weekend, we have no idea. I think there's so many things him and his team will have to think about because we are missing a few, and whether it's a change of play style, change of formation, who knows. But Sort of talking about replacements and everything and a few transfers such as Lowton. It's sort of come out today that Stansfield, Jay Stansfield, Exeter City striker last season, but previously, well, his permanent club is currently Fulham. But on the surface, it does look like we could be close to getting him through the door. Not sure if it's a loan or permanent, but I do imagine it would be a loan. I'd be surprised if Fulham wanted to let a 20-year-old striker who's been performing very well go just like that. But yeah, Jay Stansfield, Jamie, what are your thoughts on that one? We've been crying out for a striker.
I think it's great. I think it's what we need. I'm not ignoring you. I'm literally just seeing if Fabrizio's written anything about it. Because if he tweets it, it's happened, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's great. He's clearly athletic. He's quick. He's powerful. He's what we need, really. And I thought Scott had a great game on Saturday, and I can't believe I'm saying that because I know I like to slate him, but I think he worked hard. My problem is I think he played his best game defensively this weekend. There was points where I'm watching someone make a slide tackle for us, and I'm like, who's made that tackle? What? Scott Hogan's at left back making tackles, and then so it's one of them. I do think Scott works hard. I think he's done better the last game, but I do think we need some fresh blood up front, someone who's just aggressive and ready to get at him all game.
Josh, thoughts?
Yeah, looks like a good player. Was at Exeter last year. He got 16 goal contributions, 9 goals, but he seemed to play like up top most of the season, and then they moved him to left wing. But even there, he seemed to create a lot, and apparently he can play across all three as well. So I think it's another really good option. He's young. I would like to see him come in on a permanent rather than a loan. Obviously, as you say, I don't think Fulham will want to give him up. Apparently they're quite keen on him, so probably a loan deal. But yeah, I think it'd be a good option. Obviously, some fresh blood up front, quite quick as well. Although he's 6 foot, I think, so can probably hold the ball up. But looks like he's going to be getting inside as well. But yeah, it looks like could be a decent option. Another one that kind of Gardner's got out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But could be decent, yeah.
I can't see Fulham selling, if I'm honest, with the obviously pending Alexander Mitrovic to Saudi.
Yeah, I think Stansfield will be at our budget as well, to be honest. I know he's, not played too much first team football at the highest level, but League One last season did well at Exeter, as you said, 16 goal contributions, 20 years old. I'd be surprised if Fulham wanted to let him go. But you said a few things there, Josh. I think the height is a big thing, and I think his aerial ability is very good because I felt against Leeds when we played that game, we were trying to get a lot of crosses into the box and really utilise the wide players because that's probably our strongest positions on the pitch at the moment and get those crosses in. But I felt Hogan isn't quite the player to deal with balls into the box and winning the ball in the air, whereas Stansfield likely could be. I think for a while we've just wanted that Dukey replacement. I think Sam Cosgrove was probably in mind for a bit of a Djukovic replacement, and players we've got in the past I think is similar. I think Stansfield could be the one, and as you said, if it can be permanent, that's excellent. But I sadly do think it will be a loan. But I mean, we'll have to see. 16 goal contributions in League One last season. He's clearly a decent player, and if he can be that Djukovic replacement, uses strength, uses power, uses aerial ability, I think we're onto a bit of a winner. If he were to come in, then is he a straight swap for Hogan?
Potentially. I think obviously you have to see how he goes. I think he'll be not straight away. I think it'll probably take him a couple of games, but I think he could probably take over from Hogan. I mean, he's quick in behind as well, so I think Hogan was doing that more the second half against Bristol. First half he was used probably more as a target man, but second half he did seem to be making runs in behind, but obviously he hasn't got the pace he used to. So I think if this Stanfield comes in and he seems to be quite like a link-up player as well, playing well off other players. I mean, with 7 assists as well. He's not just a goal scorer. So, yeah, I think it worked well in the lineup. So, as I say, not straight away, but probably a couple of games, bed him in, and then I wouldn't be surprised to see him as first choice.
I think what you said as well earlier on in that he can play across the front three, I think is just that extra bit useful as well because as we've said, depth is something that we're not too hot on at the moment. So if we can have one of those players who can come in and replace Sariki Dembele when he's out injured, or when Keshi Anderson's injured, can play in behind, or anything like that. We seem to be favouring the 4-2-3-1 this season. And if he can place striker in behind the striker and the two wingers, I think we're onto a real winner there. Aside from other transfers, we mentioned Lowton and we talked a little bit about him last week. And as you said, Jamie, it'd be great to get him in. But I don't think, other than that, there's been too many rumours. And I think a centre-back is honestly vital. I think if we don't get in another centre-half, I think we're going to struggle.
So I keep hearing Ted and Mengi's name shouted. And I keep hearing it. And I'd love that. The issue, so obviously I follow the wonderful medical man on Twitter. I don't know if anyone else does, but he's pretty good. Someone tweeted him back the other day, because he put six or 7 days ago now. He said, like, hello, and a BCFC signs, if say, like, I think there was 3 medicals, basically, or at least 1 or 2. And someone tweeted him the other day saying, well, what's going on? And he literally tweeted saying, I think how the club's looking at the minute is we've got to sell to get someone in. So I think bringing that lad in, the striker, I think it's the nail in the coffin for Sam Cosgrove. I think Cosgrove goes then.
You might be right, to be fair. And we mentioned it last week. I don't think he's going to get much game time this season anyway, Cosgrove. And I think another club will happily have him, to be fair, another League One side.
Blackpool are massively linked to him.
Yeah. Who knows if Exeter, might want another striker, he could go there. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But I think you said Mengi there, and I think when Mengi first came to the club, I was so impressed with him because I think he was 19 at the time, and he didn't play a load of games for us. But I thought that 6'3", powerful presence at the back. I mean, Josh, would you like Mengi back at the club?
This video is brought to you by Taste Card, your new secret weapon for days out with friends and family. Taste Card is a dedicated discount app that hunts down all the biggest offers on food and activities, so you can save money on the things you love. You can rely on Taste Card to serve you discounts off restaurant food, price slashes on all your favourite shops, even including cinema tickets, so you can go and watch Barbenheimer as much as you want. Sign up for Taste Card now for only $29.99 a year, Taste Card's lowest ever price. Link is in the description.
I'd love him back, yeah. I think he obviously played in a back 5 when we had him, and he was like the right-sided centre-back, but I think he could play next to Sanderson, or even if we push Sanderson over. I think Kevin Long's been massive this year in just that composure at the back. So I think Long and obviously Ruddy in goal as well, they'll like talk him through the game because he's still only 20, 21, I think. I'd love to see him in. I think obviously I'm guessing it would just be a loan deal. I don't think he'll ever play for Man United, but I think he's probably one of those players that they'll probably hold on to, and then sell for like 5 million or something in the future. But I'd love to have him back. I think it has gone really quiet. I think it was like the Leeds game where it all came out because he did an Instagram post or something with Ethan Laird, and since then it has gone really quiet. So I'm hoping that maybe something comes of it. It could have just been like friends, because obviously he was mates with Ethan Laird at Man United, so could have just been friends having a bit of banter, but I'm hoping there's something in it because, yes, Mark Roberts is good on his day sometimes, but his days are quite rare nowadays. So I think having someone like Mengi in definitely just shores up that defence a bit more. And yeah, I'd love to see him in.
I think Mark Roberts 100% has his attributes, but like you said, I 100% agree. Like, I think if you're playing a team that is just going to go your B-Tech kind of Tony Pulis long ball for 90 minutes. QPR away last year, win 1-0. I think if you've got them kind of games, Mark Roberts will be your man of the match because he will not lose a header. However,
100%.
if you're playing a team that's got small, quick strikers, avoid like the player.
I completely agree. And I was going to say that I think for me, the modern centre-back now needs to have some pace on him. I think these days forward players are getting faster, stronger, quicker. And I think there's still a use for slower centre-backs because often what they lack in pace, they gain in strength and size and stature, off set pieces and all that sort of stuff. But I think particularly in the Championship these days, and as a modern defender, I think you need to be quick. And I think that's something Ted Mengi has because he is a tall centre-half, yet he's still got that speed, he's still got that pace. And there was a game last season, you said, Josh, he played on the right of the defence, which you're right, but there was one game where we had a few injuries, and I remember he was a central centre-half. And you've got to be a bit more commanding in that position because you're next to your 2 defenders. And even then, as a 19-year-old, I thought he was so commanding and had such a good game. I think so. I think if we can get Mengi back, that'd be great. And as you said, it certainly doesn't look like he's in Man United's plans anytime soon. So, I mean, if we can get Mengi into the club, that'd be great. What else has happened at Blues? There was an open letter today released by Gary Cook, which is very nice. I think we've seen more open letters in the last few months as we did under the whole reign of BSHL. Mainly just talking about the kits and the merchandising and all that sort of stuff. It says here, whereas I think we had 3 times more sales in merchandise this season, this season compared to last season, which just shows the boost in support around the club and the morale around the club and everything that's going on, which is great. My most interested thing in this open letter is the talk of a third kit, which definitely seems like it's happening. It's always nice to have a third kit. We had the Arthur's kit last season, didn't we? The white kit, which I believe was a 1-game thing. Did we have another kit last season? We did, didn't we? Well, I'm trying to think. Was it because I'm trying to think of the third kits we've had recently. We've had the Tiger one, that orange and green sort of tiger print kit. Last season we had the Arthur kit.
Just the 2 last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was,
the blue and the red.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and we had the Arthur kit for that 1 game against Preston. But I think a third kit's really exciting. We've talked a bit about kits on here before, but Jamie, what would you want from a third kit? Would you be buying it as well?
One of my favourite kits in my lifetime, obviously going down the Blues and watching, was the black away kit we had in the Prem. I loved that kit.
Beautiful, isn't it?
If we bring anything like that back, I'll be a happy man.
Yeah. 100%.
It doesn't really. Let's be honest. It'd be nice, but I'm colourblind, so for me, the kit to get in it, it'd be alright.
any kit will do you, mate. Any kit will do you. Josh, what would you like to see from the third kit?
I like kind of third kits that stand out a lot, not just boring ones. I have heard a good suggestion of doing like a penguin kit, but swapping the colours around, having the blue stripe down the middle, almost like a homage to Trevor Francis, almost something like that. But as Jamie said, like a black kit would go really nice this season. I'd seen the yellow with blue pinstripes as well. Those kits seem to do quite well. I always think of the European away day with that kit where was it Chris Wood scored in the last minute or something. Just something that stands out. I mean, I've got the Arthur kit from last season. Really liked that, like the whole meaning behind it. So even if they do something like that, like almost like a charity kit, like link it to some charity, like I think that seems to be like the kind of thing the new owners would do, kind of link it back to the community or like the history of the club. But I think it's a good idea. Obviously, like it says in the letter that they can't get any more kits now to sell. So I think having a third kit coming out would be really good, and obviously boost sales for the clubs, which means we can get better players, which means ultimately the team gets better. So
yeah, no, you're right. I think it would be nice to see maybe a tribute to Trevor Francis on the kit or something, whether it's a bit of writing or a kit inspired around the time period he played. Looking a bit more at the letter, there's a few things I like about it as well. So I'm sort of stealing someone's tweet earlier, but I did really like the way they put it. I think what's great about these letters, I know this one's just a bit more about merchandising and kit, so it's not necessarily something that's super serious, but they've said, what's going on and everything, what's happening around this letter, aka around the kits. There's clearly a problem there because the kits are sold out and people want to buy more. They've gone on immediately to say what they're doing about it and how they're going to solve the problem and think of a solution. And I think it's so good just to see that communication. Here's a problem. We've acknowledged it. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do moving forward? And I think it's so brilliant to see even small bits of communication like this, because in the past Blues kits have sold out, or when they come back in stock, no one knows. No one has a clue. Even just small things like this, even just have a letter as surrounding something so small as just, kits are out of sale. It's so nice to have this open communication. And as I said, it doesn't seem like much, but small things like this are massive because it just shows these people care. They will address the fans. They know something, is going wrong. They're looking to fix it. I think it's brilliant. And the more of this we have, I just think the better, because it shows the intent and everything around the club at the moment is just being run perfectly, and it's so brilliant to see. But that's pretty much it around the letter, isn't it? There's not a whole lot more other than the merchandising stuff and all things like that. So I guess we move on to Plymouth. Plymouth at the weekend, they've had an all right start to the season. Another home game, another sellout as well. Jamie, what are you expecting from Plymouth?
I think they were unfortunate to lose in the last minute against Southampton. I think they're a very good team. Yeah, and I think, was it Eustace or someone who said themselves, like, they've got a lot of momentum just coming up. Good team. I do think we'll like dominate the ball. I think they're going to set up for the counter attack with their pace. I think I don't know. It's the first time I've said this for a while. Like in a few years, I trust this back line to keep a clean sheet, and I haven't been able to say that in any Birmingham City team for probably the last 8 years. I trust that we will keep a clean sheet. Under Rout was probably the last time I could say them words confidently. Like, I think
you going, James? By the way,
2-0.
2-0. Didn't you say 2-0 for Bristol City?
I said 3. I think I said 2.
I
said 2. Yeah,
confident.
but he said 2-0. This man out.
Did you, Josh? Josh said it. There you go.
Yeah.
So in that case, Josh, say your opinion now, and you better say a win because it's going to happen, isn't it?
When I was speaking to the Plymouth fan on the match preview, I said 1-0, and I said a Kevin Long header.
Ooh,
so
something a bit different.
There you go. Put your bets
on.
You
got to put a 5 on it.
Yeah.
You got to put a 5 on it.
Got a few last season, Kevin Long, didn't he? Got a few last season. Yeah, I think Plymouth. It'll be a. I think it obviously helps being at home and another sellout crowd. I think that's fantastic. It shows so many people are interested in the club at the moment. They've started with a win, a draw, a loss. Obviously, as you said, Jamie Chatham scored in the 90th minute last weekend to stop them picking up a point. I think Plymouth will be a tough test though. They've got a few good players. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how we get on. I mean, we're 4th in the Championship. We haven't seen Blues that high in the league so long. If we can keep this unbeaten streak going and pick up another 3 points, it would just be amazing. We've obviously got Cardiff as well in the cup after Plymouth on the Tuesday. Jamie, is a cup run something you'd like to see?
I mean, at this current present time, I'm not saying throw the game, but I wouldn't be opposed or upset if he started the under-21s. Because right now, we do not need any more bloody injuries. No. Literally, start the kids. Give George Hall a run about for an half, get his fitness back. Give Gary Gardner a start. If Mark Roberts has got 45 minutes in his legs, get the fitness back on them players. Give Neil Etheridge his game. You know, I like Neil, to be fair. I know he's on a lot of money, but I like Neil Etheridge. I think he deserves a little game or two as well. So give Neil a run about. Longello will play left back. You know, give the lads, I wouldn't want to be John Eustace at the minute. I was thinking about it earlier. He must have it so difficult right now thinking about this Plymouth team on Saturday. And then knowing in 3 days' time he's got to play another 11 against Cardiff with injuries. It must be a nightmare. So, yeah, don't throw the game, but throw the game. I wouldn't mind losing.
Josh, you similar in your thinking, or?
Yeah, I wouldn't say throw the game because I am going to it. But I am going to use it more of like a scouting kind of session, really, because I am expecting like the kids to come out. I'm expecting like Josh Williams. Was hoping to see like Alfie Chang again, but obviously that's not going to happen. But I would like to see Sam Cosgrove get a go up front and just see, because I was trying to think back to it and I can't remember the last time he actually started a game. I think it was like under Karanka. So I think just give him a go because, I mean, really he could have a great game and then it's like, oh, we don't need Stansfield, or it can just confirm that he's not ready, but it also gives Duke a rest. Like he can't play the full 90s, and I'd rather him just be fit for league games. So as I said, it's like not too fussed about the cup at the moment. I think we just need to focus on the league and just make sure we don't get anyone injured, really. So as I'm going to it, I'm going to use it as like a scouting session, but not expecting us to win like 5-0 or anything.
Yeah, scrappy 0-0 penalty shootout, something like that will probably happen, or a 1-0 win.
Yeah,
like it's not going to be a thrashing either way. I think both clubs are in the same boat in terms of they're both just going to want to rest a lot of players. Cardiff haven't had a great start. They're not really going to be thinking about the cup too much. Neither are we. You just don't need more games and more injuries right now. So I'd say start the kids like you, use it as a scouting session. Maybe give Bakuna 45 minutes in centre mid, let him score another free kick, then get him off.
Yeah. See, I'm quite different in my thinking to you two in that I'd really like a cup run this season. I think it's been a while since Blues have had a proper good cup run where we've really made it far. And I think missing out on 2011, I wasn't really a fan then. I'd like to see Blues at Wembley one day. So personally, I'd like a cup run. I do agree in that rest some of the starting 11 and bringing a few of the younger players or the fringe players. But I'd like to see us do well. And I just think it's small things like just to keep momentum and positive vibes, whatever you want to call it, just to keep that streak going and keep, because we said it last week, as soon as the first loss comes, everyone goes into meltdown and Blues Twitters, all over the place. Like Eustace out, owners out, everyone out. So I want to delay that as long as possible. I want a good cup run this season. I'd like us to start a few stronger players, start a few of the kids, and just give it a really good go. And as you said, Jamie, Cardiff hasn't started too well. I mean, they drew to Leeds opening day, didn't they?
They should have won. They were 2-0 up at Ellen Road.
I know they were, and it was a last-minute goal. Yeah, they're currently 20th, and they've lost their previous two. Although Aaron Ramsey did score a banger at the weekend. I don't know if you saw that. What a disgusting goal that was. So it just shows he's still got it in the locker. But yeah, personally, I'd like a good cup run. It's been a while since we've seen one. Play a few of the youngsters, play a few of the more experienced players, and see what happens. So Jamie, for yourself, you're going 2-0 Plymouth. Sorry, did you say 2-0 or 1-0 against Plymouth?
I said 2-0 Plymouth. I think Miyoshi bangs again. And
I hope so.
I don't know who gets the second goal, but I'm screaming for an Ivan screamer, but I know it's not probably going to happen. maybe Anderson actually finds his shooting boots and actually decides to take a shot instead of trying to pass off every time he runs for on goal. It really infuriates me. The only thing about his game that annoys me at the minute is he'll run for on goal and he'll do everything, and then it's like he panics that second. Just shoot. He did it.
Yeah, he did it against Leeds, did he not? Where he was pretty
Bristol.
Much through at one point. Did he get it against Bristol as well? Yeah, it's the only downside to his game. It's that I'd say just a decision making sometimes in front of goal. Sometimes you just got to hit it and be a bit selfish and go for goal. So yeah, you're going 2-0 Plymouth, and what about Cardiff? It's quite unpredictable with the squad, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun game to watch because I think it'll be back and forth because it'll be young teams playing, but I think we'll probably sneak it 2-1 or 1-0. Etheridge will pull off one of his usual yearly double saves that makes Sky Sports news, and some deadline day madness will happen where some Luton Town or something will probably come in for him, and then we'll have to deal with that. And like last year with Forest Green when he did it. So I don't know, something mad will happen in the game.
And Josh, you're saying 1-0 against Plymouth. Kevin Long header. And Cardiff.
Yeah. Cardiff, I feel like it's going to be like a 0-0 go to penalties kind of late night. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. 0-0 penalties late night, and Etheridge will pull off like a brilliant penalty save or something.
Yeah.
And we'll go through.
So if we are to go through, what are your ideal fixtures in the next round? Because Premier League teams come into it, or the top end Premier League teams, I believe, in the third round, don't they?
Anyone who's not in Europe. Not a bloody another championship boring game at home. That's what pissed me off so much about it. That's why I can't be bothered to think about it. So I was like, Cardiff at home? Like, come on. Like, Tottenham away or something. Just give me something fun.
Honestly, that was gutting because I think with the draw, there were about 6 teams left, and one of them was Chelsea and one of them was Spurs. So we were close to a good fixture. But if you had to say one, Jamie, would you want it home tie, away tie, and what club? Would you want a second City derby? It's been a while since we've had one of those, hasn't it?
I mean, I would like a second City derby, but they are also playing very well at the minute.
They are. So are we, though.
At the same time, derby's form doesn't really matter. Would I like to play against the 12 Toes? Yeah. I think I would. I think I'd enjoy a game against them. I think they wouldn't play the strongest team if we played them because they've got Europa League football to think about, and now they're in Europe, they think they're the pride of everything again. They think they're the greatest thing in the world. So I think if we took them down a peg or two, it'd be great.
It would.
So I wouldn't mind playing them.
I think I would go. The ideal one would be Tottenham away. I think because was it under Karanka when we had them pre-season, and it was COVID, so none of the fans could go, and it was just as they'd opened that stadium. So probably Tottenham away just to go to the stadium. I'm going to be really boring. If it's not like one of the really big teams, I'd rather just like a League One team, so we'd be
Yeah.
able to win and just go through to the next round
Yeah.
and carry it on. Preferably an away game though, because away games are just best. So
The best.
No.
aren't they?
Wrexham away would be a laugh, I reckon.
Wrexham would be good, actually.
Yeah.
Wrexham would be very good.
yeah,
It's a club that probably a lot of Blues fans haven't been to, the sort of hardcore
Yeah.
away day travellers, because obviously we haven't really come up against them in recent times. Yeah, I think I'd love a top sixer club away, Anfield or Spurs' new ground, something like that. I think the last time we had a big club in the cup was Man City. Do you remember when we played City? We were 3-0
Yeah.
down at half time. And
Yeah,
I think
that's
that was COVID, wasn't it? That was COVID times as well. So it's been a while since we've had a big team in the cup, but yeah, I'm in complete agreement. You always want a big side, and if it's not going to be a big side, you always want a League One team or something along those lines for an easy pass into the next round.
Do all the teams get to play each other this round as well? Because I know they divided it north and south for some random. I've never seen that.
I
don't
don't.
know
You
if
know,
I'm
I
just-
don't
Don't
know.
know.
I have no idea. Yeah, because they did it. They did it for obviously the previous round. I don't know how they structure it in the third
What just
round.
hit Sunderland away? What just gets Sunderland away or something mad? Or did
Something
Sunderland go up?
boring. I can't remember. You know, I'm not too sure. But
What
if
should
they
be
do,
something painful like that? It would be something brutal, Bradford or something. It was like
something just dead boring, and because we haven't had a big team in
long
a
on a Tuesday. Norwich away. It's going to be something like Norwich away again.
That
Yeah.
would
It's like
probably
a
be
Always
6 hour
Norwich away.
ball ache,
Yeah,
like on a Tuesday night, and it's just like, oh god,
Ipswich or
I
something.
will buy a ticket just to grow the season ticket away stud, but I will just lose my head over it. I'm not doing.
It wouldn't be great, would it? It wouldn't be great, but hopefully we get a big side. I think is that pretty much everything. Anything anyone wants to add or anything we've missed? I think we've covered most of it, haven't we?
that's about it.
Sure we
Yeah.
have. Yeah. So Tommy Kelsall is always good at filling the last 15 minutes. He always thinks of something, but I don't quite have the skills to elongate things like Tommy does. So I think we will wrap it up there. A slightly shorter episode this week. But I think we've covered most important topics, and hopefully a few more exciting things happen at the Blues. So we have plenty to talk about next week. But Jamie, Josh, thank you for joining me as always. I really, really enjoyed it. Sam and Tommy hopefully will be back next week too. Be sure to follow us on our own personal socials. They are just below our faces. Don't forget to follow Blues Focus on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, anywhere you get your social content. We are likely on there, so drop us a follow at Blues Focus. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you in the next one. Keep right on.
You're on.
Keep right on.